Okay, so about 8 days ago, I got a comment on one of my videos from someone who asked to redo a 2300 to 2400 Australian dollar PC build, and the video that he is referring to is this video right here. So this is a video that was posted 10 months ago where I did a build for 2300 Australian dollars. And that budget included a monitor, a 1440p monitor, and it was based on AMD's AM5 platform. So you can see here we have the Ryzen 5 7600X with a Thermalright Peerless Assassin cooler, an ASUS Prime B 650M-A Wi-Fi motherboard, 32 GB of RAM, a Corsair Vengeance kit, 1 TB SSD, the RX 17900 GRE for our graphic card, an MSI MagForge 112R PC case, a 750 watt gold certified power supply, and I also gave him two options for 1440p monitors. So here I am, decided to do a new list, which didn't change too much, to be honest. The only big difference is the video card, of course, because the 17900 GRE is pretty much out of stock anywhere, and it's pretty much impossible to get the card. So let's quickly go over the list here, and I will show you where I need your help. Because what happened is that the person who asked me to redo this video actually threw a complete curveball on me. After some back and forth in messaging, he said that he made a mistake and his budget is actually a little bit higher. It's 2800 and not 2400. So this is getting kind of interesting, because let's go over the build first and then I will explain the situation. So the CPU is pretty much unchanged. I still went with the 7600X because there isn't really a good option in this price range right now. If you take a look on the CPUs you can get for around 200 to even 300, 350 Australian dollars right now. You have the 8500G, which is a big no-no. A 7600 is lower than a 7600X, and the reason why the 7600X is lower in price is because there's a sale on Amazon right now. So you can see it's around 40-something% cheaper, and it just makes more sense to go with this one, especially because this one is much faster. Then you have the 8600G, which is again not a very good performing CPU if you pair it with a GPU. You have the 9600X, which have very similar performance to the 7600X. It just have slightly better power efficiency. It's a 65 watt TDP CPU and not 105 watt. But you can see that the price difference starts to get very big. It's around $70, and I don't think it's really worth it, if you ask me. So the 7600X is the CPU I think you should go with in this kind of budget. For cooler, I did change the cooler for something else. I went with the Thermalright Phantom Spirit, and this is a very strong, easy to install CPU cooler, and I actually had a very big debate if I should get the Peerless Assassin instead. So you can see that the Peerless Assassin cost around like $7 cheaper, I think, is it, right? It's like 95, yeah, no, $10 cheaper, sorry. But there's a big difference between these two models, and the Peerless Assassin is a 6 heat pipe design cooler, while the Phantom Spirit is a 7 heat pipe design cooler. So this cooler is a little bit better in terms of handling very high output. And you can also see that the die over here, the block that covers the CPU, looks a little bit larger, and it looks like it covers a little bit more ground. So If you are investing in a very good cooler to last for years, especially air coolers, they do last for a long time because there's no elements like a water cooler. You don't have pumps, you don't have radiators, no water, anything like that. The only thing that can fail here are the fans, which are very easy and very cheap to replace. And if you invest in a good cooler, let's say, for example, you will upgrade your CPU to something a little bit better, then I'll probably spend the extra $10 to get a better cooler, to be honest. So that's why I went with the Phantom Spirit. And for our motherboard, I did decide to upgrade to something a little bit better than the original motherboard we chose in the original video. So just to remind you, in the original video we had the Asus Prime B650M-A, and over here I went with the Gigabyte B650 Ego AX motherboard. Now you can save a few bucks if you go for the non-Wi-Fi version. The AX is the Wi-Fi version. It has Wi-Fi 6 as well as Bluetooth. Now over here I also had a little bit of a debate if I should go with this MSI board instead. This is the MSI Pro B650M-A Wi-Fi, which is a very, very solid motherboard, and as you can see, it's a lot cheaper. It's around 60 to $58 cheaper, and this is a very capable motherboard. It is a micro motherboard, and I know some people don't really like micro motherboards. I kind of tend to agree sometimes. Big motherboard is very fun. You have a lot of space to work with in terms of like plugging stuff, and even if you want to upgrade, this motherboard has 3 M.2 slots, for example, and the MSI motherboard has only 2. So yes, I get it, and in this case I think I spend $60 more on a better motherboard could make sense, but if you want, you can go with this MSI option instead. The Gigabyte motherboard does have a little bit better phases design, so that's the VRMs are the parts that deliver power to the CPU, and it has a little bit better design in terms of power delivery. So let's say you want to push your CPU a little bit more than it comes with stock out of the box, then yeah, I'll probably go with this motherboard, especially if you're considering upgrading your CPU down the road. So for RAM, I didn't really change this too much. It's still a 32 gigabyte kit from Corsair. This is a non-RGB, very standard 5200 megahertz kit. I don't really see a justification to go any more than that, to be honest. If you want a stable system and reliable system, I know a lot of people will tell you, yeah, go get a 6000 megahertz kit with CL30 or whatever. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I've seen a lot of stability issues when trying to put very high megahertz on certain kits, and it's very hard to maintain high transfer speeds. So in this category, I really go just for not the cheapest, but the more reliable, what I see that is more reliable and will have less problems with blue screens and freezes and stuff like that. So I don't really see a reason to go with anything more than that. I prefer stability over speed, even though speed is important. I mean, performance is important, but in the end of the day, if your computer is crashing every 5 minutes because the 6-something thousand megahertz kit you bought couldn't handle it, then yeah, it's kind of pointless, So yeah, this is for the RAM, and the storage didn't change too much. Still the Kingston NV3, probably one of the best, cheapest, reliable SSDs you can buy these days. And for our graphic card, I did went with the RTX 5070. And the reason why is if you take a look on all the graphics card that are 12 gigabyte of RAM in terms of memory for the graphic card, So you have the RTX 3060, which is a pretty old card at this point. I mean, it's okay. It's a good card still, but in this kind of budget, we want something better. You have the B580, A770, 9060 XT, 7700 XT, 5060 Ti, 16 gig, which is a very good card. And you also have the 7800 XT, which is the closest possible option we can get to the RX 7900 GRE that I chose in the original video. But from what I saw here, I think the 5070 makes the most sense in terms of performance. And if you look on some benchmarks and some performance numbers between the 5070, the 7800 XT, the 5070 is just better. Even if you compare it to a 4070 Super, the 5070 is still a little bit better. Of course, also you have the benefit of DLSS, DLSS 4, which is huge. And if you play AAA games with DLSS, it's just much better performance. So yeah, I didn't really see any other good option, and we can't really exceed the 1000 mark price in this budget for our GPU. So this is the best option I could find. And if you take a look on the 5070, I didn't pick the cheapest option that was, which is this Palette Infinity Free card. I chose the Palette Gaming Pro. And the reason why, if you take a look on both of these cards, you can see there's a pretty big difference in their coolers. So it's around $70 difference, and you can see this is the Infinity Free model. You can see that the design of this cooler is fairly simple and very thin. You can see over here. And the Palette Gaming Pro, on the other hand, is much bigger. The cooling solution here is much, much better. You can see the difference in size between this one and this one. This is much more slimmer. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad card. Of course, it will still probably will have the same performance. They will have a very similar performance between of them, but I think if you're the kind of guy who want to show off with your graphic card, and maybe you do want to do some overclocking and maybe play with your megahertz and voltages a bit, I don't really recommend to be honest. I don't even do it myself. I don't think it's worth it these days. But if you do want, and of course this one also has some RGB on it, if it's something that is important to you, then yeah, I would spend a little bit extra, get the bigger, nicer, cooler card. So yeah, that's it for that. And for case, this was actually a tough one, choosing between a lot of cases. There's really good options out there right now, but I did find this interesting Corsair 480T, which I think not a lot of people know about. I certainly didn't until I found it. At first I thought it's like a new model or something, but apparently it's not. This is from the previous generation of Corsair lineup cases, like the 4000D, if you remember, before they changed it to the Frame 4000D and rebranded their logos and mesh panels and everything. So this one has a bit more of the old Corsair style cases, but what I found it to be very interesting is, first of all, it's very compatible with pretty much everything you want to throw at it. So it supports up to 400 millimeters in length. Graphic cards, you can put up to full ATX motherboards. You can even go water cooling if you want. It comes with 3 ARGB fans, and the ARGB is not the interesting part about these fans. These fans are actually very good in terms of airflow. And remember, we want to go full performance as much as possible. I know he doesn't really care about looks or RGB or stuff like that, but I know these fans are very good. Probably better than any other pre-installed included fans you can get in a case that costs $100. So this was pretty much a no-brainer to me. In terms of build quality, this case will be exceptional. I know Corsair cases, I know they have very good build quality, and I trust this case to deliver on that. But as you can see, the case does not have a rear fan, so I went ahead and found a similar fan to the ones that come pre-installed with the case. So this is the Corsair RS120, $20. It's not the cheapest, you can get something else, but if you want to complete the look and the theme of a Corsair case, this is probably what I would go for. And what's good about this fan, it's you can daisy chain it to the existing fans and plug everything together to the motherboard, so you can control all the lights together. Now for our power supply, I wanted to go with something a little bit better. What I chose in the end, it's not a bad power supply. Don't get me wrong. It's much better than probably anything else you can get
in this price range.
This is the MSI Mag A750BN. It's a 750 watt unit. It has bronze, 80 plus bronze certification. It has a built-in 12 volt cable, which has 300 watts, and this is pretty much what you need for a 5070. Now, I would prefer go with something a little bit better, especially if you are considering upgrading down the road. So something like this MSI Mag A850 GL could be a very good option. So this one is a gold power supply and not a bronze. It's much more efficient. The included 12 volt cable, it's a little bit better quality. It also can supply up to 600 watts of power. So in the future, if you decide to upgrade to a much stronger video card, then you will have the support for it. But as you can see, the price difference is pretty substantial. I mean, it's $70, and it's $70 that you don't really get benefit from right now. I mean, you spend this money just to maybe if you upgrade in the future, you know what I mean? It kind of doesn't make sense to me. I would prefer to probably take this if I could afford it, but because we are on the budget and we want to spend as much of the budget to performance for now, what we can get the best for now, I decided to go with what I need for now, right? Sometimes it makes sense. Maybe in 4 or 5 years, 3 years, I don't know how many years, when you decide to upgrade your GPU or something like that, you will want maybe to change your power supply as well. So this is also an option to save right now, get something good that will do the job for now, and then upgrade it maybe in the future. This can also be an option. I see a lot of people do it. When people come to me to the store where I work, for those of you who don't know, I work in a computer store. It's not mine, by the way. It's not related to the channel or anything like that. But I see a lot of people, they buy a new graphic card to upgrade and they get a new power supply with it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. And this is what I think. This is probably what I would do if this was my build. But if you do want to spend the extra and get a more future-proof power supply, then I'll probably get this MSI Mag A850 GL, which is an 850 watt power supply. And by the way, if you ask yourself why don't I consider any other power supplies, I think J2 Sense did a video about these connectors, these 12 volt connectors, and he showed that some of the manufacturers don't align the pins very good on the connector itself, and that's what is causing a lot of the melting connectors and problems that everyone saw with this NVIDIA solution to their GPUs. And he found that MSI actually were one of the best in terms of making this connector very reliable. So that's the reason why I go with this one. And besides that, this is an A-tier power supply. I think the A750BN It's like a C tier, but it's still very good. I actually use this power supply for myself. I have a 550 watt version, but I have pretty much the same one. So yeah, other than that, for the monitor, I had pretty much two options here. If you go to 1440p monitors and you pick anything that is 144 Hertz or more, you can pretty much go either 27-inch or 32-inch. In the 27-inch category, I found two monitors. One of them is from LG, and the other one is an AOC monitor. So the LG Ultra Gear is probably my favorite option. This is an 27-inch QHD 1440p 200 Hertz monitor. I think it's 180 Hertz by default, and you can overclock it to 200 Hertz. Very reliable in terms of image quality. All the Ultra Gear monitors that I've ever dealt with have very good picture quality, also very good response time. I think if you even take a look on reviews on ratings.com, this is a very popular website that reviews a lot of products, and you can trust their reviews. For PC gaming, it gets a very good score, and it also supports G-Sync and FreeSync. I also like the fact that it has a height adjustable stand, which is very convenient. It's very ergonomic. The one thing that I don't really like about this monitor, that it has a special dedicated power supply, and sometimes if you lose them or if they get broke, then it's very hard to find one. So if you go with this model, make sure you take a good care for the power supply and you don't lose it or something like that. Otherwise, your monitor is cooked. So yeah, if you want a flat monitor, this is probably the one that I would go with. It's a very good option. But if you want a curved monitor instead, you can go with this AOC CQ27G3S. It's a VA monitor. It's not IPS like the LG one. So the IPS will give you a little bit better colors and viewing angles. The VA will give you slightly better contrast between black and white. So if you use it for very dark games or even for reading text, it will give you slightly better performance. The colors won't pop. It's the same with an IPS panel, but it's still a pretty good monitor to use. Pretty much all the curved panels are VA these days. They don't really. It's pretty much impossible to make an IPS curved panel that I know of, at least. And this one is also 165 Hertz. It has an height adjustable stand. It has nice curvature to it, so if you want to play AAA titles and have that immersive experience, this is probably the one that I would go for. And now for the dilemma I have. So as you can see, this configuration will cost you 2,400 Australian dollars, and as I said in the beginning, the person who asked me to redo this build said that his budget is actually, he made a mistake in his calculations, and his budget is actually 2,800 and not 2,400. So I said, you know what, that's a good opportunity to see what, make a video of taking a build and see, okay, I have the extra 400 Australian dollars to spend. What do I spend it on, right? Like, which part do I upgrade? Do I go with like a better video card? Do I go with a better CPU? If we want the full maximum performance, what is the part that will give us maximum performance? So I'm gonna give a few options, okay? And I really want your help as a community to see what you think. What would you do if this was your system? What is important to you? I know that this person really cares about performance. Now, if I care on performance, I'll probably, if it is for gaming, I'll probably want to upgrade my GPU, right? But the problem we have here is if we upgrade our GPU, we might end up bottlenecking our CPU. So we want to upgrade our CPU as well. But $400, is it enough to upgrade our GPU and our CPU? So let's first see what kind of a GPU we can get above the 5070. If you go with the 5070 Ti, to remind you, our current GPU right now is around at $1,000 Australian. A 5070 Ti is $1,600. So that's $600 more than our current budget. And remember, we have only $400 for the upgrade, right? So 5070 Ti is out of the picture. Maybe we can go with a 4080 or 4080 Super, right? Yeah, it's pretty much unavailable. You can't really get this card right now. What else? Can we get maybe the 7900 series from AMD? No, there is no pricing for that as well, so you can't really find those cards as well. What else is left? I mean, we can go with the 9070 XT, which is slightly faster than the 5070 in some titles, not all, but yeah, it is a little bit faster. The problem is you can see it's 1359, and this is for the cheapest model you can get, which is actually not a bad model. This Sapphire Pulse is probably the tried and true when it comes to AMD Radeon cards, so it will do the job just fine, okay? It's a good, reliable model that will perform exactly the same as any other model, but it's not the fanciest one. It's not like you don't have all the RGB on all the fancy coolers and stuff like that, but I'll probably get this one, don't get me wrong here, okay? So this will bump our price pretty much. We will use all of our upgrading budget, right? So let's say if I go with this one, instead of this 5070, I'm almost at 2800. And I think we do bottleneck our CPU a little bit. Let's actually check that. So if we go to bottleneck calculator here, we want to make sure we choose GPU intense task, because if we are talking about gaming, we want to make sure that our bottleneck is talking mainly only about gaming. We want to make sure we choose 1440p resolution. Our processor will be the 7600X. And if we take a look on the 5070, there's pretty much no bottleneck between the 7600X and the 5070. You can see it's only 3%. So this is a very good pair. But if we go with the 9070 XT, let's see how much worse is it. Interesting. This one actually has slightly less bottleneck. And remember, everything that is less than 5% should not be considered major bottleneck. So even the 5070 is still not considered as a bottleneck, and they both will be a good option. It's a bit weird that the 9070 XT has less bottleneck, because it is slightly more faster than the 5070 in some games, not all. Remember, NVIDIA has the upper hand when it comes to DLSS and stuff like that. So this is a very interesting scenario, but this could be a very good option. I would prefer to upgrade the CPU as well, but the problem is the next best CPU we can get that will give us like more performance could be the 7700X. But if I go with the 7700X, we end up way over budget. This is 2926, and we need to be under 2800 or around 2800. Maybe we can go with another option. We can go with the 9600X. So remember, it's the same as the 7600X, but it has slightly better power consumption. We can actually maybe take a slightly fancier cooler, to be honest. So that could save us a little bit. But let's see what is the price right now. It's $2,822. So that actually could be a very, very compelling option. You go with both the newest AMD graphic card you can go with and also the newest Ryzen 5 CPU. So what other options do we have? Let's say we keep the 7600X and the 5070 because, again, it's very similar in performance to the 9070 XT. The 9070 XT is a little bit better, but maybe you do prefer DLSS and you play AAA games and stuff like that. So let's say you want to upgrade something else. What I consider upgrade is maybe upgrade the monitor. And I know it sounds a little bit strange because monitor don't really affect performance, right? It's not like giving us more FPS or something like that. But I think a monitor upgrade will be more noticeable. If you can get maybe a bigger size, let's say a 32-inch, then that can also consider to be an upgrade because you get a slightly bigger monitor. Let's say you do some work stuff on your gaming PC as well. You want to do some, I don't know, video editing, some schoolwork. Having a bigger monitor is nicer. Now, I know not all people like big monitors. I mean, a 27-inch is more than enough. I haven't used a 27-inch myself, but I did have a 32-inch monitor, so I know the difference. And if I could go back to my 32-inch monitor, I would probably do so. I'm gonna be very honest, because bigger is just more. It's more usable to me if I have a lot of productive work, or even if it's for games. It's nicer to have a bigger monitor. So if we take a look on everything that is 32-inch, 1440p, above 144 hertz monitor, we have two options here. One of them is $455 and one of them is $548, which does exceed a little bit of our budget. But this one could be a very good option. This is the MSI G321Q, and this one is a 1440p, 170 hertz IPS panel. It's a flat monitor. It doesn't have any adjustable height stand, but I mean, with this kind of size, you don't really need the monitor to be height adjustable. I mean, it's nice to have, but with this size, you won't have any problem. It has a very nice big IPS screen, which have very good color coverage and will have very good viewing angles. So this will be the perfect monitor if you want to have a good productive and even for entertainment purposes monitor for watching movies, for playing games on a big screen. Let's say you want to take your chair back, have a controller and watch a big screen in front of your eyes. This will be a pretty good option. And by the way, I think I also included this monitor in the original video. So this used to be a little bit cheaper, I think. But if we do go with this monitor instead, the 27-inch LG monitor, let's see what we ended up with. 2566. Wait, how does that makes any sense? Oh, wait. Okay. So sorry, I was a bit confused with the calculations. For some reason, I saw the price of the monitor and I thought, wait, that's $450 more than we get to 2800, but never mind. So yeah, we still have some budget to play with. We can maybe go and get that better power supply I was talking about. I think that could make a little bit sense because remember, in terms of GPU upgrading here, we don't really have any better GPU we can get. Maybe we can get a better version for the 5070, but I don't really think you should do that, if I'm gonna be honest. I mean, you can go with this, let's say, maybe this Asus Prime OC, let's say this one. Or maybe this Zotac gold, right? Gaming solid model. So you get this fancy Asus Prime GPU, which is very good. It has a very good cooler. Or you can go with this Zotac Gaming RTX 5070, which looks very nice. I mean, yeah, I know we don't care about aesthetics, we want performance. But going with slightly more like better cooler and more non-model could have effect in terms of reliability, and in the end of the day it does affect also performance if you get something that is more reliable, right? So that could be an option as well. Other than that, I don't see anything else we can go like better. Maybe we can go with the 9600X. So if we go with the 9600X, this will leave us at 2700. Maybe we can upgrade ourselves to the 7700X. Let's see how much this will. Okay, so 2800. So this is also could be an option. You can go with the slightly better power supply. Not slightly, but much better power supply. You can go with a bigger screen, and you can go with a faster CPU. Now, in terms of gaming performance, the Ryzen 7 doesn't have that huge of a difference compared to the Ryzen 5. I mean, the GPU does pretty much all the heavy lifting when it comes to games. But if you do use your computer for other productive work, let's say video editing or stuff like that, then this is a very productive, oriented, focused upgrade. You get a bigger monitor because maybe you do like video editing or like work stuff and other productive work other than gaming, and you get a faster CPU with it and a much better power supply and much more reliable power supply, and a power supply that will give you better upgradability in the future. So these are my options. I don't think upgrading anything else in this build make any sense in terms of performance. I mean, the Corsair case we chose is pretty much a no-brainer. I don't see any reason to change that to anything else, unless you want something else aesthetically. You can maybe go with a 2 terabyte drive, but I mean, look, storage you can always upgrade in the future. You have 3 M.2 slots on your motherboard, and it's very easy to upgrade it in the future. I would start with a 1 terabyte and then upgrade in the future. Going with a better motherboard doesn't really give you any performance boost. I mean, yeah, you will have a fancier motherboard with some more fancier features and stuff like that, but like it doesn't make sense. I will show you an example for a better motherboard. In my eyes, could be the the Tomahawk from MSI, this one. I've seen this motherboard when I was doing this build, when I was preparing the video. This is a very, very good, solid motherboard. Probably one of my favorites. It's let's say it's my dream motherboard. Build quality is like good, very good sound solution, tons of USB. It has a very high-end power solution. I think it's like a 14-phase power solution. You can see up here at the top, you can plug 2 double CPU power cables to it. Everything about this motherboard is very, like, reliable and very high-end, like very good motherboard. So it's just in terms of like reliability, it's pretty much one of the best you can get, but it does not give you more performance in the end of the day. So it is a fancier motherboard, but it does cost around $50 more, and I think you can spend that $50 more in other stuff that are much more important. So I'm curious to know, what do you think? What would you upgrade in this build? Would you go with a better CPU, with a bigger monitor and slightly better power supply? Would you go with a different card maybe and upgrade your CPU as well with it? Would you go with more storage? Would you go with a better motherboard? These are the options. Tell me in the comments, what would you prefer? I personally would go probably with the bigger monitor and the better power supply and with a faster CPU. And that's mainly because of the work that I do, because I do mainly productive work as well as some gaming that I don't really have time to play games right now. But these days, I mean, I work a lot. So yeah, but I think it makes more sense, right? You get a better CPU because you never know what you will do other than playing games, and having a bigger monitor is it's just fun. It's fun to have a big monitor. You can do a lot of productive work, and it's good for entertainment purposes. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? What would you do? And I'm very, very curious to know if maybe you have any other suggestion. Maybe you found something else? And I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to support the channel directly, you can use this link in the description down below. And until the next time, thank you for watching Full Terror TV. My name is Rafael, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.